Okay, we are in Siman Rishon and Beis Sifhei, and last time we discussed the question regarding sprinklers and if it's permissible to have a sprinkler automatically go on Shabbos or not. Should be just pointed out that there's a difference between if the sprinkler was running already before Shabbos and then you leave it on Shabbos versus it turns on in the middle. Should also be pointed out that there are, in fact, opinions who hold that it's permissible to for the sprinkler to automatically go on. That's what we learned last time. Preferably, we shouldn't do that, and the reason is because of ashrei milsa, which means that it makes a lot of noise, as opposed to if a person has a sprinkler which people can't see and it doesn't make noise. So then that would be less of a halachic issue. For example, we called it the dripper if it was under the bush and it was just doesn't make noise and you can't even tell that it's on. Perhaps one could be more lenient in that regard. So
Wait,
that was
when does
one point.
when
Um,
does sprinkler make noise? A sprinkler
sprinklers make noise, number one.
yeah.
Number two is that you could see them, which brings to the next point, which is
Yeah.
some wanted to say that perhaps if they go on from 3 to 5 in the morning and no one can see them, it would be less of an issue. Even so, that still isn't so simple. The real underlying issue over here is it's a problem of zoreya, that the water assists the grass or plants, bushes, trees, etc., to grow, which is obviously a malacha on Shabbos, and that would be a problem. So that's basically the issue. And then there's problem, of course, of Marasayan. People are going to say, thinking that you turn the thing on Shabbos, which is going to be an issue. So that's the story, basically, with the sprinklers. Now,
Doesn't the remote cell address that issue with the making noise, like with the dishwasher when nobody's up?
oh, so now, okay, very good. That
I think the
actually
answer is that
segues.
doesn't address
That
it.
segues perfectly into what we are going to be learning about today. We're going to be learning about today very relevant questions pertaining to if you start something before Shabbos, could you continue going into Shabbos, for example, a washer, a dryer, a dishwasher, etc. So let's go straight into it. We should remind ourselves of the argument between the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah. We have a fundamental machloikis over here. According to the Shulchan Aruch, you could put wheat into a mill and near the time of Shabbos, even though it will continue to work on Shabbos. According to the Ramah, that is going to be a problem because it makes noise. And the Ramah said that is the custom. That's preferably how we hold lechatchila. However, in a case of loss, then you could be lenient. Makom hefsid. You could be lenient. That's the Ramah, right? So we clearly see that the Ramah only permitted this in a case of loss. That's what we see from this Ramah over here. It should be pointed out that according to the Oila Shabbos, even in a case of loss, you should be stringent. That's his opinion. We don't all like that, but still noteworthy to point it out. What's the reason for this? The answer is it's a zilzul b'kavod Shabbos. It's belittling Shabbos because people are going to come along and say, "Oh, this fella, he did this on Shabbos itself." Ve'av ki hakol ein nishma l'reshus harabim, even though no one could hear it. El b'nei beis, only the people in your house. B'vadei lo yichshu b'kach, no one will suspect you in your own house. Mikom makom lo chilku chachamim b'gizerios, and there it is. It's low poke. The chachamim didn't differentiate when they said it's a problem because other people are going to hear it outside of your house and think you did it on Shabbos. The same thing, people in your house. They didn't differentiate over here. However, if the malacha, if the work is going to be done in a place where someone isn't Jewish, is located, and there's no Jew there at all, that would be okay.
Mostly
Right?
no Jew. I mean, like, unless there's one
Very
Jew
true.
and then it's like a lot
Then,
of people.
then it's a problem because they might come to think that the Jew is doing it on Shabbos. Right? So that's why it has to say Ve'ein Sham Yisrael.
Make a
So
difference whether they're religious Jew, non-religious.
no, any Jew, it's a
Any Jew.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Im ki gam bazeh im lahatri im abaylim Yehudi v'zoy sasko parnas, right? If the owners of that property are Jewish also, that could be a problem if that's his way to make money. Because nowadays we could use all these machines without touching it at all, and the whole Shabbos will turn into a weekday. And that will be a problem over there. Right? That was the tshuva from Moshe that we saw. Footnotes over here, he quotes a little bit where he's coming from. Then he continues and he said, based on this, we could discuss mechoinas kibitza, which in English we call a washing machine, umiyavish, and a dryer. By the way, if you want to make a ton of money, figure out a great invention. Washing machine dryer combination that actually works well. Like, why on earth do we have two machines? You got to take it from the wash, put it in the jar, put it all in one machine. Why is it so difficult? You could get to the moon. You could put a washer dryer together. All right. Anyways, so you have washer dryer over here.
They must have that. It's expensive though,
Not a
right?
good one though.
It's
People
either
don't get it.
it's either expensive
People with
or
money don't get it. It's obviously not good.
yeah.
Madiach kelim, that's what we call in English a dishwasher. So we're talking about if you have a washer or a dryer or a dishwasher running before Shabbos, going into Shabbos. Mechashnu machshiri silum b'hatfasa b'aisiyim. This is going to be computers. Machshiri silum, I think, is types of videos.
Ooh.
If you have cameras in your house, which every Orthodox Jew should have, if they have someone who is cleaning their house who isn't Jewish in their house, by their kitchen, to make sure that there aren't any mess ups in the kitchen in terms of mixing meat and dairy, etc. Pots, right? So now you have a camera that's running. V'hadpasa b'tiyim b'shar machshin electronim chazusim o hamashmim kol. You have other devices, electronic devices that are ongoing to Shabbos. Shein lahatu avodos me'erev Shabbos kishvolasim nimshach l'toch Shabbos. This will not be permissible. Even if it was turned on before Shabbos, you can't do it going into Shabbos. Unless it's a place of a great loss, and you don't see it and you don't hear it. Then there wouldn't be a concern. However, if you do hear it, you do see it, that would be a problem. All right? So this is a fundamental idea, and with this we could answer the classic high school kids question. Why can't I just leave a radio on over Shabbos? The answer is these halachas. Ashrei Milsa. The answer is Siman Rishon and Beis Sif Hey. Because it makes noise. Because just because you start something before Shabbos and you don't actively do something,
Not bad news. You know what I'm saying? The whole time I thought that was bad news.
Noise is
Sprinklers.
the only type of noise that I've seen is perhaps prohibited if it was on before is noise if a kid has a sound maker. For whatever reason, that kid needs a sound maker to sleep.
Mhm.
So it's brought down. That's okay to use on Shabbos because you started before Shabbos.
Only kids?
No, maybe even adults. You started before Shabbos. No one's going to suspect that you turned it on Shabbos itself. And it's helping with the individual sleep, which is part of Oneg Shabbos. So that's fine. This is bad noise. You don't need to hear on the radio what's happening in Israel right now.
That's his own Shabbos.
That's right. The question is, what is Oneg Shabbos? My Oneg Shabbos would be going to the beach and surfing and getting in a car to do so and drinking a pina colada, which and other sorts of drinks, which they have to use a grinder to crush it up. But guess what? Can't do all that on Shabbos. So that's not Oneg Shabbos. The real Oneg Shabbos, which we learned, your neshama is going to go up. And when your soul goes up, your extra soul that we get on Shabbos, the neshama Yisir, it's going to say, what'd you get for Shabbos? You think he's going to say, oh, I got an extra potato in the chalent? That's an Oneg Shabbos, but that it's only a means to an end to the real Oneg Shabbos. Learning Torah, doing mitzvahs, etc. That's the real Oneg Shabbos. This is the antithesis of Oneg Shabbos. That's not what Shabbos is about.
But I mean, like for example, let's say the Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, you've spoken about adding extra food, not adding extra learning.
That's correct. The extra food demonstrates an honor to Rosh Chodesh in addition to Shabbos. For someone like yourself, you're already learning every second you could get on Shabbos, so you're already maxing out your own Shabbos. So what else? What extra are you gonna do?
Yeah, so
Well,
you
comes
need
along the extra kugel over here. So now, in addition to the potato kugel, you got the apple kugel,
Mhm.
right? In addition to the chicken and meat, you got another cut of meat.
Mhm.
Making something.
Right. You're doing the best you can. So.
Furthermore, that's Rosh Chodesh. Right, Nick?
But I would think it's the same in any
Shabbos.
Shabbos is different. Shabbos, only Shabbos, then only on Rosh
No, I
Chodesh.
understand this week.
Rosh Chodesh
Shabbos
is a
was
din.
Chodesh.
Yeah, I understand.
So what
That's
is
what
supposed to, so.
you have an extra dish.
An extra dish.
That's what we said, yeah. Maybe we'll learn if we finish the simon, we'll learn Rosh Chodesh. Because then this is one of my chavos is very into the simon. See if I'll watch it. Okay. Footnotes number 40. So look, this is a big discussion. You gotta shut all of these things off. All of these things. You gotta shut it down. Make sure it's done before Shabbos. It's a big problem. A lot of times someone accidentally forgets something in the dryer, and even after it's done, some of the dryers have a mode where it keeps spinning for like 3-4 hours.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So that's obviously something to think about. That could be an issue over here. All right. Reason is because it makes noise. But no, 43 is going, let's say it doesn't make noise. Yeah. You got a silencer on that. Guess what? It's still a problem of belittling Shabbos, and it still constitutes as something which makes a commotion. They got tape for radio. Oh, what's wrong? It's NBA finals.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's right? That's about. Kosvu kama poison when it's got lost, but if you learn Ishma call balachash, boys and Adam. It's a problem even if the volume's on mute.
The problem the volume's on mute. What you talking about radio? Or what are you talking about? What's
A screen.
on TV?
The TV could be on mute, or he's saying, I think he's saying radio that it's low enough that only
Only you
one
hear
person
it.
can hear it. Yeah.
That's gonna be a problem. Guess what? Person shouldn't have a TV to begin with. Now what he's talking about is there's this new common thing that we see nowadays. It's called digital picture frames.
Mhm.
What basically happens is it goes from one picture to another to another. Guess what? It's a very nice idea, but you probably need to get rid of that on Shabbos.
That's silent.
Yeah, that's silent. That's not what Shabbos is
Is
about.
that what he's saying? He says you have to get rid of that on
I
Shabbos?
think that's what he means over here. When he says v'chein yishlos, he says das b'inyan platium electronim. V'sukkos u'b'lamos simcha v'gedoyim. I think they're talking about electronic pictures.
It can't be. Those kind of pictures don't make noise and don't.
Doesn't matter.
Have to.
Doesn't matter.
Don't you
Over
have
here he says shelo yashmiu kol, you don't hear their voices, but then he says v'timunas mischalfos.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Didn't you-
changing pictures. Imo kavu masuda v'choyze alat mustaver delike iser v'akol v'inyan. Oh, whoa.
Don't you have that in some
Different.
shows? Don't you have
Yeah,
it in
it
some
could be a
show?
difference between a screen that has video and some sound. For sure, you shouldn't do that. Versus if it's just moving pictures, could be that it's not prohibited, he says. But it really depends. It
I mean,
could
what
very
about,
well
like,
be to get rid of that.
And by that the oil
Shabbos
salad
stick.
over there they have like like it's constantly things reels of the laboratory going. So
They have it on Shabbos?
I've never been on Shabbos. I'm guessing like they
Get back
could
to
have it
us
on
tomorrow.
Shabbos.
Get back to us.
You're saying they go there on Shabbos, see what's going on.
Get back to us. I doubt it.
It would make sense if it would be on without the volume because that's like part of the whole whatever.
It's a big shiloh nowadays. Some shuls, instead of having
Oh, they have like
The
a digital.
calendar.
You already know what
the
I'm saying
daily
before I
schedule
said
says
it.
It seems to be a problem.
Instead of having it written down the old-fashioned way,
Right.
they still have it over here in the corner that no one looks at. No, not digital. They have what you put in the.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know who puts that in. but I don't even know if it's updated.
Some people should look at it,
Okay, whatever. It's
but they have
and
the
now
big
now
electronic one.
everything in the world is getting digital,
But they have that big one in the hallway.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
let that go.
especially once Tesla came in. That's it. All cars now they're gonna go digital. No buttons, nothing. Right? It's all digital. Everything, computers, everything's getting more digital. So could very well be an issue now because sometimes, like you see in the hallway over here in the shul, right? They have these signs that they're always putting up new signs. They knew this, knew that, knew that, knew this. Everyone wants to. So in some places they have that digital. They don't need to put up the whole sign. It's always there. It's updated easily. Perfect. They have it in the trailer over here, digital thing. Try to feel this, and they have it all over the place.
They don't shut that. I mean, I guess because they make noise. I guess they don't shut it down on Shabbos.
The problem is, it goes from one picture to another is what to think about. I remember, in the good across the street over here. I remember Rabbi Bronstein asked Rabbi Force about running those things on Shabbos, whatever. They got a new screen and a new whatever. I've never seen it on Shabbos.
And they're gonna.
Yep.
Interesting.
Never seen it on
Now,
there.
how much hamafad do you have to make on this? The pictures that sometimes have a little video in it.
That's not appropriate on Shabbos, but Pashas. Someone told me Rabbi Forshu himself, they just have a scheduler, nothing else.
Yeah, this is idea.
Okay, so it doesn't update, it doesn't change, it's one thing. Because once it starts moving from one thing to another, then again you say, wait, if this is okay, and I can watch one picture to another, then I can watch anything now on the screen.
That might just be
Watch
like
a video of my kids on the
a
screen.
flimmer because it logically makes sense that you should have pictures moving. I don't see. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's like a picture frame.
we have to ask ourselves what we learned already a couple sessions ago. If in the times of the Chashav Tanaim, right? Times of the Mishnayos, and they had this technology back then, and these rabbis who pretty much had prophecy, was the prophecy. They could do miraculous acts, make rain come, all sorts of miraculous acts, resurrect people. You think that they would be cool with this? They would allow it. Yeah, you think that's what Shabbos would be about? That feels like Shabbos? The entire time you're in front of a screen? Right? That's fine. You're watching videos in front of a screen all Shabbos.
They're not engaging videos, they're just pictures.
Is that really Shabbos appropriate? To look at pictures and everything. Saying to have right, we're talking about over here. Timunos mischalfos. So you're sitting in a living room on Shabbos, and you're watching it shuffle between 1,000 pictures, one for another, and you're sitting there for 2 hours. That's what Shabbos is about. Watching old pictures shuffle from one thing to another on a screen.
That was any worse than playing.
I'm saying it's a screen. Is there not enough screen time during the week? They say even if you look at the secular experts, the psychologists, the professionals with anxiety, depression, ADHD, all of those types of people, kids at risk, youth, the number one cause is too much screen time. That's already another discussion.
I just said that you have to make a mafal. You have a relative, elderly relative.
Yeah, look. With the moving pictures, you don't need to say anything.
I've seen the pictures now, but
it's logical to say there's no prohibition.
There's one that comes up let's say every 3-4 hours. Singing, the kids singing.
What, on a video thing? And there's noise. What I'm saying. But for in our house, we know what you got to do.
100%.
I saw a very interesting thing recently. It's talking about. I think that this is in Aleinu L'Shabeach. I saw it in Parshas Matos and Maseh or something. Talking about someone who became religious, came from a family who wasn't religious at all. An individual wanted to go back home for Pesach. So I think it was a she. So she went back home, and she actually worked a lot before so that she could afford shmur matzah and get it for her extended family who wasn't religious. Her family wasn't religious. And some other items that were mahadran, and she worked hard, and she went home, and she came back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, and how was it? And she said, to be honest, it was terrible. My father was the only one who stayed during the Seder. Everyone else was just watching TV the whole time.
Nice and father.
Yeah. So she said, so now they said, we have to ask a Shaila, should I go back next year? And at least I'll get the mishmar matzah and everything, and my father will be there, and so that I could help them out, or I shouldn't be in that type of environment. So they said, let's ask Rav Shach.
Wow.
So they went to Rav Shach, and Rav Shach said, you have to go back.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the influence you could possibly have?
Yeah, whatever, family, all that. Keep the connection. Keep the
That's very
connection.
important to keep the
Keep the
connection.
connection. It's important. Keep the connection. So, what does that have to do with anything? So that has to do with, you and your family. We obviously know the right way to do it. Religiously, spiritually, and everything else. We have to, try to do our best and realize that if they're not going to listen, we shouldn't say anything anyways. They go to a different room, whatever it is, and do the thing. And that's it. Usually they'll be respectful of a person's religious needs. That's what I've found in my personal experiences. People, again, it could be case dependent, and it could be also how much are you asking for? Don't push it. You can't ask for them to roll down a red carpet, but it depends on the family. My experiences with other people and whatever is that parents do usually cater to some level to their religious beliefs, or eventually they'll come on and realize that this is who they are now and that they changed in this manner for the better. May I add? So that's the cheshbon over there. So look, at the end of the day, we have to talk about. Let's just point out this terminology. Where's my box? Yeah.
Plaque.
Yeah.
That's a plaque.
Plaque. That's an electronic plaque.
Right.
All right. Okay. No electronic plaque.
It's
So
like electronic plaque. It means like
I don't really know what it
I do-
means.
It's like
I'm assuming the electronic plaque is like what they have out here.
the yard sites.
No, not the, I was thinking the
The schedule.
schedule.
Scheduling.
Oh, it's just like text. There's no pictures. That's what you mean by plaque.
Well, it's just by text, no pictures. Yeah, that's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
got it.
But why does he say shalo yashmiu kol? Those things don't make noise. And what would be the difference between that and the moving pictures? Why are you categorizing
It could be. I remember once.
Yeah,
Because the electronic plaque, let's say, it just shows you the schedule. It's just up there. Doesn't keep on showing.
but he's saying
just
shalo
the schedule.
yashmiu kol. It doesn't
Maybe
hear a
it could
voice.
be like I remember once I saw like a thing with yard sites, right? And usually it sounds about like fire or whatever, but it sounds like fire noise. Yeah, where I saw that.
Or maybe.
It could
You know what I'm
be.
saying? Like it
That's
could be like a
interesting.
noise.
Yeah.
I want to add one
And
thing,
It was like fake.
which is
Whatever.
totally side
Allegedly.
point. In the
Always-
next door over here in the trailer where they have the minion in every hour. Walked in once. I think I usually do. I was one of the first people there for mincha. A couple minutes early, whatever. And the only person there was the gabbai. I walked in. What on earth? On the screen right in front. You both been in there. There's a screen in front.
They're right in front of the.
There's a show and there's a lady that's dressed inappropriate.
What?
That's right. She's wearing sleeveless.
Up on that big thing.
Yeah. She's wearing sleeveless.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So I go to the guy. I said, hi, it was taka raining that day. I said, I don't know how to work this thing. I take my raincoat, put it over. I happen to have been wearing a raincoat that day, I think, which is interesting because usually I don't during the week. It must have been raining a lot. I said, let me take my raincoat. I'll cover the whole thing. So he ended up coming over investigating. He saw I was right in my assessment. Quickly unplugged the whole thing. Happened to have been that the tag guy, what's his name, Amuel or whatever,
Adil.
Adil something. He happened to have come in also. Sat this. Oh no, he didn't come in. I quickly ran into here. I said, "Dude, we need your assistance over here. This is why you're here. This is your whole career comes down to this moment." So he's explaining the technology. I wasn't involved in this conversation. I sat down to learn, but he was involved with it with the guy. They took care of it. Apparently, those screens have full internet. They could do anything. Those screens. So they could get hacked. He said someone might have hacked it, and you could put anything on there. Yeah, the thing he said might have been hacked.
Crazy.
Yeah, look, it could be, who knows which country did it. You know? The point is that you got to be careful with these things. You got to be careful because a lot of times they're not set up. They don't have a filter on the thing, and anything could go. So it's something to think about.
wait, there was some, I just saw a newspaper in Borough Park. It said that Elmo was hacked. You heard it? Did you see this or not? Or
Elmo? No, I don't follow Sesame Shtus. Sorry.
No, but this is on the cover of a newspaper in Borough Park.
I don't remember exactly what
What
happened.
happened? He was hacked?
It was hacked, not hacked.
I don't know. Okay, no. Yeah. They
Technology.
say, by the way, I read in the Sefer, they say, what's the big deal if I put my kids in front of a screen and they watch Sesame Place for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes? They talk about how bad even these rated G episodes are, seemingly completely innocent, how bad it is from a mental perspective and from a growth perspective for children. Even just 10, 15 minutes, the parents say, oh, it's easier. I got a free babysitter over here. They behave so nicely.
Yeah.
They talk about how bad it is and what it does, and it's terrible. It sucks out imagination, which is very important for a child's development, removes it and other things. All right, anyways, look, we got a lot of side tangents over here, but look, this is all relevant information. Footnote 44, he quotes a couple sources that discuss these questions. You can't cause them to be used on Shabbos, all these chuvas. I didn't look them up. You can look them up if you want. This is where it is. In footnote 45, he says a chiddush. Make sure the washer dryer is off. If it completely goes off automatically, totally off, you have even more time after sunset. You have time as long as it's before sunset. It could even be after you lit candles. Your wife lit candles. So that's a very important leniency over there. There is a well-known tshuva for those who learn these topics. What's alluded to over here in a place of a loss, someone, a chayal, soldier in the IDF, asked Rav Yosef if he could. Apparently, he had to go right after Shabbos back to the army or something. The only time he was able to do laundry is right before Shabbos. Apparently, based on his scheduling, was he able to leave the dryer on over Shabbos? So Rav says leniently that he could. That's what this is talking about over here in footnote 46. That's what Rav is. You could also do the old-fashioned. You dry them on a line, the good old-fashioned line. Apparently, the Sephardim can be more lenient with this. Again,
The line is not a problem on Shabbos.
well, you put it up before Shabbos, so it's not an issue.
I'm saying, but looks horrible. Kind of like you think with the noise, like people walking by and see
Okay.
your laundry hanging.
They saw it was there before Shabbos, so it's
Got it.
not making noise.
I'm
So
saying, but there's not that disrespect you putting it up on Shabbos.
No,
Just saying.
no.
Got it.
How would that not be a problem with Morris Zion?
Because they know that you hung it up before Shabbos.
I thought it's like really?
Yeah.
I
If you
thought
look
even
over here,
yeah.
I'm not sure what this Hatanas B'Tria is, but or a refrigerator or freezer you could leave on Shabbos, obviously. So that's the story over there. Now what we have to discuss a little bit is about timers. Okay. The Ramah already ended up saying that you have a timer, so that's fine, even if it makes noise, because everyone knows that you did it the previous day. So it's a big discussion. We take it for granted, setting an alarm clock on Shabbos.
And it has a cover. It has a cover. Obviously, you can't touch it.
Is it Trio?
Yeah.
Trio.
Something loading fresh.
Right.
Electronics, I'm not sure what it is. So when it comes to these timers, you're setting a timer to turn on lights, off
Battery
lights.
charging.
Oh, battery charging.
That's how, yeah.
So what about that? So if you're charging a battery, so that's fine to do. No
What if it's a
concern.
loud battery? Yeah.
Perhaps most
Yeah.
batteries when they charge, I've never seen one that makes noise.
Yeah, the one that I'm thinking about is like my weed whacker. When you put in the battery, it's
Makes
really loud.
noise?
I don't know why. It's very loud.
Broken.
You think so?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of noise. It's really annoying.
Yeah. Okay. So what this is saying, timers for these different items. But so then that's going to be fine. But other types of timers for Shabbos is very well going to be a halachic issue, and we already saw Moshe discussed this in the tshuva. That's the truth of the matter. So because then you could do anything. So therefore, he goes practically. What this is talking about? Let's say you have a washer, or dryer, or dishwasher, ovens. You can't just have a timer now that it's going to go on in the middle of Shabbos. Because then there would be no difference between Shabbos and during the week. You can't just have a device that's going to turn on in the middle of Shabbos and start playing music. That's going to be a problem. But during war, or if someone's sick, maybe that could be fine. Which means if there's a serious war going on and you have to know where to relocate, you could leave something on a low volume.
Hearing is war.
Hiram is war, that's right. So that's it. So if you're just curious, you're here in America and there's a war going on in Israel, no right there.
Be there in Israel.
But if you're in Israel and you need
Missiles
to, and
and
you need to know
everything.
missiles, you need to know evacuations. And usually they'll have the alarm that will go off anyway, so you don't need it. So this is pretty rare for it to happen. But if you were instructed, if there was a potential flood that was coming and there's no sirens over here in America and they say keep your phones on at all times, so you don't have to. Just saying.
It's a hurricane. So it's-
Yeah, hurricane, whatever. Serious one. Over here in footnote 51, he quotes a lot of Chuvas Farm who discussed this Shiloh, this idea over here. Certainly a problem listening to the radio if it's being broadcasted by Jews who aren't religious. It's actually very important. Let's say a lot of times it's very important if a person has a Google Home or something, or not a Siri. What do you call that other thing?
Alexa.
Alexa, yeah. If you have that and it was accidentally left on Shabbos and it wasn't on mute, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says,
Get out of the house.
so you would try to kick out the plug or something. Do it in a way that isn't normal way of removing the plug.
But is it more of an issue to remove the plug than let it go?
If it's very loud, if it's taking away. Then he says,
you can tell the lower volume, you can talk to him. And
yeah, it seems like that's not preferable because he says over here, I'm not sure. I'd have to look up the tshuva. She'im b'sivuv gilgol hanem echas hakol mishum pu'ulos electronis. There's no electronic act that you're doing when you're kicking it out.
Oh, but when you're talking, you're constantly reacting with the tendency.
Yeah, something like that. I'd have to look up this tshuva over here. Most of these devices are digital nowadays. Hanemeches hakol, I think, is lowering the voice. Yeah, so if you're going to lower the voice, you are performing an electronic change. And also the numbers could change. As you see on the top, at least I know for the Google, you have lights that light up. And that's prohibited. Unless you're going to get someone who isn't Jewish to do it, because that would be Shvus Sarach Mitzvah. The best thing is if you could put blankets and pillows on it. That's the best thing. That's what we did once. This happened to us.
Thing with by like an alarm.
Yeah, you just dump it on the blankets. It was a Google Home, I remember, and it was so loud and it was playing not good music. Eventually, it goes off after a couple hours. So if you put, I think it took us like 6 winter blankets. that usually gets the job
I'm
done.
sorry if we talked about this, I may have spaced out,
Yeah.
but are you allowed to, I guess, are you allowed to either pick it up and move it to a different room, or do you have to do like a yad?
No, preferably you put the pillows and the
Let's
blankets.
say that
over.
doesn't work.
That's the way, kick it out with your foot. Kick it out.
So even if it's on like
Yeah, just kick it
not
out.
on the floor, it's on a, what's it called?
Kick it out, whatever it is. Kick out the plug from
Yeah,
the wall or something.
Oh, kick out the plug from the wall?
Yeah, something like
Let's say
that.
it's not plugged in, it's in
But how's it getting its energy?
a battery or something.
Usually these things are plugged in. But if it was batteries, so
Well,
that
nowadays everything's
if
charged.
it wasn't, so
It's
kick it
charged.
into a different area.
So you'd be able to, I guess, could you take your
Exactly.
elbows or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
But not
for
actually
not
pick
your
it
hand.
up, because that would be,
Yeah.
that would be a problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Okay, we're not gonna rush to finish this. I thought we'd finish all in one session today. That's fine. We're not in any pace or rush. So we'll wrap this up tomorrow, and
So,
that's what we'll do. Because also we're gonna go through some of the highlights in the Deir Mishnah Brew as well.
okay.
So that's what we're gonna do. So everyone should have a wonderful day.
Yeah,
Brother.
Was it?